All right. So, all right. Well, hello guys. Welcome to our SSARCast in Career Exploration and International Studies. And I am your host today, Koyuki, and I am a peer consultant at the Social Science Academic Resource Center, or SSARC. And I would like to remind you before we start that this meeting is recorded, and the recording of the meeting will be uploaded on YouTube. So yeah, all right. So let's get to it. I am going to share my screen. Carissa, give me a nod if you can see. Okay, I got a thumbs up too. That's great. All right, hold on. The present button is not loading. Oh, there we go. There she goes. All right. And here we go. All right. So yay. I know, beautiful slide. Thank you. All right. Let's get to it. So let's start with a little introduction about myself. I am Koyuki, like I said earlier, and I'm fourth year, ready to graduate in a week. It's terrifying, but I am also grateful. Higher education, yes. I am an international studies major with a minor in management. And a little fun fact, I think cats are way better than dogs, just my opinion. You can leave the webinar if you want, if you disagree with me. And my MBTI is INFJ, an advocate. And so why did I pick international studies? So I was inspired by the work that I was doing at my local high school, where we raised money for small businesses for women in Guatemala. And so I just wanted to help people at a global scale. And then as a second generation Japanese American, I've just always been curious to like how the world was like just interconnected, and I want to diversify my own cultural knowledge and social awareness, and just social science, way better than STEM. I'm sorry, in my opinion. I'm just better at writing than calculating numbers all day. So yeah. If you go to the next slide. Okay, so I'm just curious, why did you declare as international studies? You can just type it in the chat, but I'm just putting this question out there because before we explore some careers in international studies, I want you to all think about this question. Why did you declare as international studies? What are your values? And what is your passion? What is your interest? And these why and what questions are crucial to narrowing down your career path, right? So it all begins with a curious mind and interest. All right, let's start with social justice. What can you do to, fulfill this passion of yours or interest of yours, right? So the most common position you will witness is some kind of project or campaign coordinator, where you can lead different types of events and programs that are associated with nonprofits or international institutions, or even at the government federal level. And if you're interested in the business side of things, but you still want to promote social justice, you can be a marketer or PR specialist, a fundraiser or a grant writer, a person who researches, drafts, and submit proposals that helps organizations or individuals receive grant funding, which is typically seen in nonprofits. And you can also do research for an institution such as the Foreign Policy Research Institute, or also for the government to discover some trends in the political or just social environments to serve your constituents. And of course, you can be a lawyer or a judge, and you can be part of the Peace Corps too. So I just want to put an example out there of what jobs are available in the nonprofit sphere if you want to promote social justice. So let's just use an example of TIA, which is a nonprofit organization here in the OC, serving refugees that are coming here, specifically Santa Ana and the LA area, right? So Shukri Katan, he is a director of operations, and he basically coordinates incoming refugees, right? So he recently helped a family flee Afghanistan, also secured up to 6 months of housing for several undocumented families, right? And another employee, Mira, she's a career placement specialist, and she directs job placement in partnership with local employers for refugees to, start their life and also their job. right? And then we got Christian Davis. He leads projects and services for Flavors from a Farm, a culinary program for refugees seeking to share the cooking and receive income. So you can actually visit their restaurant, and the cooks there are all refugees, just trying to, build a new life here, which is really cool. So yeah, check it out if you have time. All right, another example is you can work in the government, especially for specifically for the immigration services. As you can tell, this is their career page, actually, a screenshot. And as you can tell, there's a range of positions, right? So there's, finances, human resources, legal, mission and operation support, right? And then if you narrow your interest a little bit more, there's an immigration benefit support. So within immigration benefit support, there's also plenty of positions you can apply for. So there's community relations officers, maintain collaborative relationships with communities. So basically outreach, right? And there's legal administrative specialists, interact with applicants to elicit and provide valuable information related to their case. So yeah, there's just a lot of jobs within jobs. All right. So next up, we got the typical route, when you think of IS, we got public policy, right? So first you can be a politician, you can be an ambassador, a person who promotes international relations on certain areas of government, such as trade, military involvement, and cultural relationships. So it requires a lot of reporting, a lot of writing to notify your home country of any economic and political developments. So yeah, and then there's also consul at the consulate, right? Consuls are officials residing in a foreign country in order to protect the interests of citizens from his or her nation, and they usually provide passports, birth registrations. And there's the fifth one, policy analyst and researcher. Like I said before, just analyzing previous implementations of policies and seeing its drawbacks, its pros and cons, and then creating a proposal based on those feedback. All right, and then there's a fourth one, which I skipped on purpose. It's political affairs officer, right? And let's look at the UN career page to see what the job is like. All right, so as a political affairs officer, if you are a political affairs officer at the UN, you are part of the Department of Political and Peace Building Affairs, ensuring sound analysis and early warning in certain regions, preventing conflict and engaging in peacemaking, managing political crisis and violent conflicts, right? So if you look at the job description a little bit more, there's the first bullet point says provides technical and substantive support to the implementations of mandates of the Peace Building Commission, PBC, including by contributing to the formulation of peace building strategies and their dissemination. And just to summarize all of their job description, you're basically collecting information, right? Analyzing that information, see what kind of issues are going around in a certain region, and then building a proposal that could resolve that conflict, right? So, all right. So if you want to go into the avant-garde area aspect of international relations, you can also go into the arts. So there's this Smithsonian Museum where they have an Office of International Relations. There's a nonprofit called International Arts and Artists, where it's a nonprofit organization dedicating to increasing cross-cultural understanding, exposure to the arts internationally through exhibitions, programs, and services to artists, art institutions, and the public. And you can also go into journalism, whether it's literary journalism or news reporting. You can express your creative writing through, and also be an advocate for certain issues or communities through this form of media. So you can also apply for jobs through National Geographic. All right, and to just specify like what kind of jobs are out there within the arts, let's look at some the team members at a certain organization mentioned previously. So there's Lane Rover. She is an international exchange specialist at the Smithsonian Office of International Relations. Okay, and She works closely with Smithsonian units, foreign researchers, and visitors and external agencies to ensure the international group of individuals present at Smithsonian. So she basically is a coordinator. She coordinates your travels and passports and visa process involving people who are working on a project, whether it's a art cultural exchange or yeah. And then she holds an MA and master's in European and Mediterranean studies from NYU. So yeah, she definitely has an IS or IR background for sure. All right, and then we got Caroline, right? She interned at the International Artists in Arts nonprofit. And she is a cultural exchange programs manager. And basically their cultural exchange program provides opportunities and visa assistance for students, professionals, artists, and researchers from around the world, and works specifically with American museums, art institutions, cultural organizations, and design firms to facilitate internships and training programs, fellowships, and residencies. So yeah, that is like a job that you can consider if you're interested in project management or just coordinating any events like that. Okay, next slide. You can also get into education where you can be an ESL teacher, right? And also you can be an education abroad program provider, such you can work for the UCEAP, right? You can coordinate and oversee various abroad programs for students around the world. And these opportunities is not just for education, but for studying, volunteering, working, or teaching abroad, right? And then of course, last but not least, your professors, right? They most likely have an IR or IS background. So you can teach students in higher education about international affairs and current issues surrounding global studies. And if you are into research too, you can do that as a professor, such as the teachers here at UCI. All right, so if you want to go into business, right, then you can be an economist, studying the production and distribution of resources, goods, and services by collecting and analyzing data, researching trends, and evaluating economic issues. And specifically, you might want to become a trade specialist, analyzing foreign trade and the global economy, using insights to like just guide strategic business decisions for a variety of clients, right? Also, you can be a global marketing / HR strategist, where you can contribute to building the brand of the company through selling products on a global scale or hiring people that fits company values across multinational firms. All right, so like education and business, like they're not really into the IS, they're not really in the IS field, but you're still curious to, to the jobs in that kind of field, but how to enter non-IS field, right? So I want you to remember that your career is mostly compromised by your experience and not just your education background. Yes, I mean, it is important to determine, what kind of education background you want to have, but at the same time, you don't want to put that much pressure, right? It's all about experience. The employers are looking more for experience than your educational background. Also, you gain a lot of soft skills from your IS background, which I can talk about later. And as you can tell by the fields and the jobs that I mentioned, IS is a very flexible major, and that could be a pro and a con because one, it's a very flexible major, so you can apply to many jobs, but two, it's really hard to narrow down which career you want to go to, which is, I'm sure, why you're here. But yeah, like you learn a lot of subjects on, environmentalism, social justice, neoliberalism, right? You hear all these, and the arts, the language, right? So you can apply the knowledge that you have gained from your, the diverse courses that you've taken and apply that to the career that you're interested in. And also you can consider a minor, a double major, or certificates from LinkedIn Teaching or Coursera, or even certificates that are provided at UCI. So if you want to learn more about minoring or double majoring, please go to the undergraduate affairs where there's academic advisors and also student peer academic advisors that can help you guide through the classes. And also if you want to talk about certificates, you're welcome to schedule an appointment with SSARC to talk about them. So yeah, and back to the soft skills I was talking about. We are all reading so much academic papers, and they're dense, right? We need to analyze them. We need to use our critical thinking skills to connect all the dots, right? So we use a lot of problem solving, analysis, right? And also communication. We read these dense papers and we create a thesis. We create a proposal based on the papers that we have read. So writing becomes a very important skill. I went to an HR career panel recently, and she was an IS major, and she was saying, oh, IS, like even though IS is not related to HR, her writing skills definitely helped her professionalism in the workplace because she needs to write out a lot of emails, right? So I thought that was interesting. And also you gain a lot of cultural competency. You interact with different types of texts, with different types of ideas, right? You learn about different communities around the world. So if you are interested, we do provide a cultural competency certificate and that you can put in your resume. So yeah, that is super beneficial too. All right, next slide. All right, here are some resources, more resources that you can go to learn more about careers in international studies. You can go to the Focus 2 career page where you can just click on the major and see the occupations that are related to the major. So also LinkedIn, Anteater Network, and Handshake. Networking is key to explore more careers. I mean, this is a great step that you came to this webinar and learn more about careers in international studies, but you'll get more of a dimensional perspective if you talk with people that have an IS background, and also just ask questions about, oh, what do you like about your job? What are some pros and cons about your job? You know, what do you specifically do? So I started networking on LinkedIn, like cold emailing on LinkedIn for the past quarter, and I already talked to 3 people. So and they were all really helpful, and I've gained knowledge on HR, because that's what I want to go into, that I didn't learn in class. So highly beneficial. And Anteater Network, you can connect with alumni. Handshake, you can connect with employers, right? And talk about the job positions that you want to apply to. And LinkedIn is a social media platform. So there's a wide range of employers and students even that you can talk to. All right. So how can you develop your career from now as a student, right? You can do research. Getting involved in research will boost your resume or your application when you're submitting a inquiry for grad school for your master's, right? Also, research is a very important component of being, and if you want to go specifically into policy analyst or political affairs officer, research is very important. So you'll get some type of experience in that. And then interning through the UC-DC program is also another way that you can experience like firsthand of what being in the public policy, politics, or social justice field is like. Right, and then part 2, you can do internships at UCI or near UCI. At the SSARC website, we have a database where other students have interned, and the social sciences offers SOCI 197 that gives unit credits for interning. It depends on how many hours you work, but you can get 2 units or 4, right? And then you can also join a club or organization to gain leadership experience. There are several clubs intended for preparation for graduate school. For example, AACCI, CalPRIG, Model UN. And I just want to talk about my experiences so far. And I definitely have gained a leadership experience and firsthand experience through participating in UCDC. Of course, I practice how to write a policy paper, a 15-page policy paper. And I gained research experience also in OCAPCA as a policy intern, and where I gathered focus groups from high schoolers to like research on post-career readiness, and also my experiences at my club's Growth, which is a global refugee organization here on campus, and at AACCI, and they all intertwined with my IS major, which is really cool. So I highly encourage you to network and just participate in many organizations as you can, besides just studying your IS major, because you will see how it all interconnects, which is really cool, like with what you're learning and what you're experiencing from your extracurricular activities. So yeah. Contact us at SARC if you want to schedule a consultation to review your resume, cover letter, if you want to explore more of a career, or if you want to get into grad school or research, you can schedule a consultation with us through Zoom. Carissa, do we have consultations next week? No, right? So next school year.
No, we have consultations during summer.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you can contact us during the summer too. You can also email us. And then, yeah, thank you for listening to this webinar. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I will answer them as soon as possible. And yeah, please feel free to contact me personally and by adding me on LinkedIn and starting your LinkedIn networking skills. So yeah, thank you so much. All right, let's answer some questions. Economics, a good. Should I read the answers out loud or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is economics a good major to pair with international studies, especially for jobs with diplomacy? What other jobs would look for people with those majors? Oh yeah, of course economics is a good pair with international studies. Yeah, like I said, you can be like an international economist. Economy is definitely important, is an important subject for ambassadors if you're involved in international institutions, for sure. Yeah, actually, I have a friend who is double majoring in economics and international studies. So if you want to talk to him, I can definitely hook you up by sharing his contact too. And will the sites will be sent out via email? Yes. And how do we obtain a cultural competency certificate? Ooh, great question. All right. Carissa, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, I can go ahead and put the website in the chat.
Mm-hmm. All right. Will the slides or videos be posted? I missed the first half of the meeting. Yes, it will be. Don't worry. All right. Yeah. On average, how much would you earn per year after graduating? Also, is graduate school necessary? It depends on the position. The job description and position. So you have to be more specific about what you will want to pursue first, and then look at the salary on like Google. Yeah, Glassdoor and Indeed usually has an average salary posted. And also, is graduate school necessary? If you're going into politics or education, yes, graduate school is necessary, most likely. All right, but yeah, those are all the questions that we have for today. If there's any more, I'll stick around. Okay, oh, we have another question. I'm a third year who is majoring in IS. I have no idea where to begin. I feel a bit concerned. Would it be best to set a foundation with SSARC? Yeah, if you need help in career development, you can definitely contact us and schedule a consultation. But I will start with what are your values and what are your interests. Sometimes it could be overwhelming, but for me, narrowing my values was like really important. So like, I just wanted to, I was like lost to what I wanted to do, but I was like, okay, I think my values are just like helping people out. I just want to do that. And through the creative arts. So hence, like I decided to pursue a career in HR, but specifically entertainment industry. And I hope I can like somehow expand it globally. Yeah, that's when my IS major comes in. But yeah, so just narrow down your values. And it might change too, so don't worry about that if it doesn't stay consistent either. Is anyone paired working with animals and IS? Ooh, that's a great question. I have never heard of that, but you can maybe you can specify of like what working with animals mean, like how you want to work with animals. But yeah. All right. Any more questions? I'll stick around, but if you don't, you can leave the webinar. Have a great Thursday, have a great Friday, and good luck with finals.